we're gonna get started. I'm gonna take this factory edge and set it down onto this runner down here. Get out here close so they can see that. And that's not gonna be my perfect edge, but I got it set down there like that. And I'm gonna take this joker. If I can find my knife, here it is. So the first thing I'm gonna do, I can see I'm overlapping, I'm wide on all the sides. So I'm gonna take this and I'm just gonna go right here. There's a groove right here, so I'm not scratching any chrome or anything. And I'm gonna tuck this thing in it and I'm gonna run right up through here just like this. And I'm gonna get rid of this excess film that's hanging over just because it's a nuisance and we don't have to have it because of the way we're doing this. So I'm gonna lay it here. Now what we're gonna cut is the next to this chrome trim. And I do this a couple of ways, but first off, I'm gonna slide that down until we got just a tad hanging over because we're gonna tuck it up in the actual behind the chrome and the glass on this thing when we're doing it. So I'm gonna slide this out just a little bit so we're not fighting this film from being hung over the side. I'm gonna drop this down again just a little over the bottom of this chrome. Squat down here, let them see down here on this chrome about how far we're dropped over. About an 1/8 inch. So now I'm gonna tack this thing down like this. And I'm gonna release this vent and open it up some. And what that does, that allows me to tack this edge right here all the way down so it'll stay put. Now a lot of folks make the mistake, the first cut they want to cut is this because it's the easiest. I don't do that, and the reason I don't do it is because if I do cut this and I got extra here, I've got one more chance to slide it in and make it fit. So I'm gonna take this tool, I'm gonna hold this film against this piece of trim right here and take my silver marker and go up through here. Now, you may wonder what I'm doing here. The reason I'm doing this is after I cut this film, this will be a pattern to have from now on, or small as it is, I can scan it into my computer off my regular scanner and have my own pattern for this. Because trust me, the ones that's in the databases, they don't fit like I want them to fit. So that being said, we're fixing to make our first cut. Now, when I do these things, I use a 30-degree carbon blade to cut this with because I'm not cutting on the glass, I'm cutting on the rubber which holds the glass into the vehicle. And this is just a 30-degree carbon. You can see the point on it. So I'm gonna start right here. The first thing I'm gonna do is, you see this hinge right here? That's an obstacle. So I'm gonna split right up under it on the bottom and on the top. And what that's allowed me to do is to lay my film flush right here. Now, a lot of folks will cut up in this way or that way. I'm gonna take this thing, push this all the way against the glass, and I'm gonna go straight against that piece of molding, and I'm gonna cut straight up as a 90-degree. I'm not gonna try to angle the knife or anything like that, just so we can get this thing where we want it. Now, I'll do that. We'll come right here, and our first brake's gonna be right there where that hinge mechanism is. And I'm gonna come down here, and it's the key to it is keeping this thing pushed against the window and the trim with this little squeegee. And by doing that, that makes the cut even all the way down. Now I'm gonna push this thing on around like this to right there. And my next trim is gonna start down here at the bottom. I'm gonna go again straight in on this piece of trim like this. And go right to this radius. Then I'm gonna work it to the front. I'm not going all the way into the radius up front. I'm gonna stop before I get to it, and I'll explain that in just a second. And I'm gonna push it back open. I'm gonna go up in here and take this extra piece that's tucked all up in there. Make sure this is pushed down. That's pushed down. I'll re-squeegee. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take my tool, I'm gonna hold this up, but I'm gonna go past it up into the rubber, past our piece of chrome or where we're cutting at. And I'm gonna go ahead and trim this piece off. Just like this. Now I'm tucking this up behind this seal. So when I push this around like this, it sort of holds it to the vehicle. And I'm gonna go ahead and latch this thing. And if you look right here, we're still all up against our frame like we want it. Then I'm gonna tuck right here. A lot of folks have an issue with this little radius in the corner here, and it can be tricky. But I never try to make a cut into it and go all the way around it. I want to come up to it in small cuts till I get to that very corner. I'm gonna bring this over here like this. Snatch that straight out. That piece is trimmed. Now I'm gonna take the very tip of this, get right on down here in this corner. Same thing, small cuts. Then we can remove this piece from in here. Like that. Then all we got left, zoom in right down here on this, is this little tab right here. I'll trim this edge and trim that tab off. And we trim this edge, I'm gonna go right here and go, again, straight up against the molding, using it just like a straight edge. Then here I'm gonna push this in like this. The same thing on this piece of molding. We're gonna turn it just like that. That way we're not making a full cut around it and we get an even cut. Now, the only thing we're gonna be lacking is this and this back here. So in order to get that to lay in like I want it, I'm gonna do two things. I'm gonna come right here where this cut right here stops at it. I'm gonna trim that off just like that. And I'm gonna go right here on this one. And I'm gonna trim that edge right there. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna start right here in the center of this by pushing my knife into right there. I'm gonna bring it up like this and cut that. Now we've got two pie-shaped pieces that allows me to push it down as I'm going around it, just like this. It seems like a bunch of work, doesn't it? The fact is, once it's done, I can enter this set of patterns into the database, and we've got a nice set of patterns. But if I weren't taking a video, I'd be then rolled through this thing and installing it like Bruce is over there. Bruce has already got his put on and sealing the edge. Now, as far as this goes, I don't cut it 100% to fit. I'll cut straight up on this edge. I'll take this squeegee, follow it straight up. This way it leaves it a little long. Then when I get ready to finish it up, I will then shave that edge and get it like it needs to be. And now we have a pattern that's gonna tuck and fit up under there, and we'll have it lined off like this. So when I get done, we'll have a nice pattern to go on here. Window. I'll show you from the inside too. We'll wipe all the water off. Now, somebody may see this and say, that's trash. Now listen, hear that? These are nicks in the glass. They're all over it. This car was built in '69, so for whatever reason, it might be abused, just like this piece across the top. Look at that. Anyway, there's absolutely no gaps.
Hey Philip, will you hand me the other bottle hanging over here, please?
That's the beauty of the glue method. No trash wicked up in it. A good pattern. Works out great. That's her.